Hi, welcome to Intuition Your First Sense 2022. This episode is running the second week of January in 2022. I love numbers. 222. I just feel like this is going to be a year that's full of miraculous fun and exploration, uncovering of the stuff that doesn't work, to look to the stuff that does work in all areas of our lives, in our own lives individually, as far and education and government and healthcare, and it's going to have a lot of uncoverings, and we probably should pace ourselves and allow ourselves to take in information at probably a very structured pace so that our poor little brains don't get waterlogged and information logged. There's already so much that flies through on a daily basis, and this year the energy just feels like it's asking everyone to know who they are, to start discovering that if they haven't already, and to really embrace it, to have fun with it, to look under the covers and see what doesn't work, like I said, but also to feel like there's an adventure in getting to know yourself and to how we can change systems and where we can be of best service. So all the things I've talked about for the last couple of years, this year energetically just feels like it's like, let's go, let's do it. I thought that starting out the year as one of the first episodes talking about your path in life would be a good way to kick off the year. I do not believe in New Year's resolutions. Just get that out of the way. We can begin something new every day, every moment, every breath. We can decide to start something new. We can change our minds. We can redirect. We can calibrate, take the data that's available to us and decide to go in a different direction. We do not need the first of the year to do this. And I know some people love it, and there are going to be all kinds of posts about your goals and this and that. But you know what? To me, it's kind of like Valentines Day. We're going to pick one day to love out of the whole year and forget the rest of it. And then we're going to set such high expectations that we're likely to be disappointed, not only in self, but the outcome. That does not seem prudent to me. So when I talk about being on your path or finding your path or experiencing your path, I am using the languaging that people know purposefully, because it's been spoken of so much that why not use the words to get people's attention and then say in a typical Vicky way, have you thought of it this way? I do not believe we can get off our path. So when someone says to me, I need to find my path in life, I'm like, well, look down at your feet. You're already on your path. You cannot get off your path. So even if somebody is making decisions that aren't in their best interest or are not helping them to further themselves, to grow, to expand, they still haven't gotten off their path. Because as a soul, you have an intention to come in and learn, and your human self helps you to carry that out. And all of it is included. All of the information is valid. So yes, I am going to talk about acknowledging your path or being familiar with your path. But please know that you're not doing anything wrong if you have no idea what your path is, or if you keep changing your mind about your path. It's okay. It's not an act of searching. Actually arriving and understanding and appreciating the literal path of our lives is an act of allowing. It's where we let go of what we think we should be, could be, somebody else told us we were, or our society has created a carbon copy machine of humanity, and we're not living the individual. So it's letting go of what you think you should. Remember, should has guilt with it. So that usually comes because somebody else told you what it was, and you start to feel a deficit or a debt there to be paid. Whereas allowing what you could be doing is about getting to know yourself. It's about listening to those heart moments or that gut or the soul. All of them are going to talk. So being able to tap into them is really important, but being able to receive the information is even more important. If you're looking at this year with the intention of getting some stuff together, fantastic. I'm not saying throw away goals. I'm just saying let's take the pressure of have to do this by January 31st or I've completely sucked at it. Your path is much like that idea of life purpose. The messaging, I think, got a little mixed up. It's like that game of telephone, right? Somebody starts the message and by the time it gets to the end, it's convoluted and it doesn't make any sense, and it probably pertains more to the person passing the message than the person who's supposed to receive it. The idea of you have to be on your path or know what your path is, I feel like is somewhat of a control mechanism of other people wanting us to know so they actually feel better. And the purpose, the life purpose thing is the same thing, because we are all here to experience our own self-acceptance, which is our life purpose. Like we all have the same life purpose, which is self-acceptance. The path to that purpose is something we get to individualize. We get to listen to our own inner self, our own, that GPS, right? That is navigating. And sometimes it takes you the long way around, and sometimes there's a dead end. Sometimes you have to pay a toll. And sometimes you end up in a town or city that you never even thought you wanted to visit, but then it's the most amazing place for you and it lines right up. So what identifying your path actually relates to or comes down to is living a life that is the fullest for you. It means following what helps you feel alive. And then yes, putting some action into it, doing your best in each moment. When I work with someone and they are presenting to me their idea of who they are, and then I start to ask, well, where did you come to that conclusion? Does that feel like it resonates from inside? Does that feel like it's someone else's voice? Very often we are layered by other people's voices, and that can be very confusing and hard to even know who we are. And to me, when someone says, and there's usually emotion with this, and oh, my heart. When someone says, Vicky, I don't know who I am, and you can feel the loneliness in that. You can feel the sadness, and sometimes you can feel like they failed. Arriving in that place or allowing those emotions to come up, to me, is actually where we're just getting to the good stuff. Because if you've been weeding through other people's perceptions, and every one of us has, then I think that what you're looking for is clarity. You are trying to figure out or assess who are you and what makes you tick. And what is the magnificent being that you are, who's having a human experience and on this planet to bring about all of the wonderful information you've gathered from previous lifetimes and from this one. So I feel like when someone is saying, I don't know who I am, it's so exciting because that's going to change too. Just when you figure out who you are, you're going to expand. Something's going to want to reach out for more. That's an indication that you have soul energy flowing through you. And it's going to create, I hope, a curiosity. So when you're asking about your path to yourself, or if you're working with someone or you're having a conversation with a friend, recognize the willingness to be the adventurer that's necessary here. Because you may want clarity, and that's a beautiful thing, but you have to be able to kind of slough off what other people have told you who you are or what you should do in life. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do it. And just because you do something doesn't mean that that's your path. It doesn't mean that you have to become the identity of what you do, and therefore your life becomes and your path becomes what service you provide the world. I was just talking to someone today and telling her that over this last year, when somebody asks me, what do I do? I ask them, can I tell you who I am first? And then I'd be happy to share what I do for a living. And it's scary to do that. It's so scary. But our world, especially here in the States, is very focused on what you do for a living rather than who you are. And I'm more interested in who are you? And then we can talk about what you do, and we can even talk about what you would like to do, and we can create that. But all of this contributes to your path. All of this is the energy and the information that fills your soul up, fills your human self up, so that when you're in this experience, you're living in joy and you question less, you trust self, you look to the brilliance and the willingness to take one step at a time toward what helps you feel the most alive. Because the path, the destination, the journey, the experience, they're all kind of interchangeable, right? But what we're talking about is, are you living your life? Are you loving your life? Are you shining your energy out from a place of actually appreciating who you are? So my goal here is to take the pressure off of, am I on my path? Am I doing what's right? Do I know who I am? What I could be doing, should be doing, will be doing. Oh God, I don't know what to tell this person when they ask me what I actually do. I almost said do there. So I'm going to say do just because somewhere inside of me is a 12-year-old boy. So I have to say do. The willingness to have the conversation with yourself about what aspect of your life feels really good and what aspects need to change. So when I was doing a lot of mediumship readings, I love helping people. I love it. And I love the irreverence of those who have passed. So it would only make sense that I continue to do that, right? That I follow that particular path because it was pretty lucrative to my business. It was something that was providing a service. And yes, it was using my skill set. It doesn't light me up. It doesn't feel like something that is enough for my soul, enough for my wiring. And I would be a hypocrite if I was out here helping people to discover who they truly are and I didn't listen to that message within me. And it's a small example of what took years of me, figuring out and asking the questions and seeking the clarity around, does this make sense? Well, no, it didn't make business sense. But could I keep showing up for work and doing that type of work and not feel in alignment with myself? No, I couldn't, because that would not be kind to myself, and that would definitely not be kind to my clients, and it wouldn't be kind to those who have crossed. And honestly, it was the ones who had crossed that I felt more of a dedication to, because I know they could see my energy and I knew they could see that I was there and I was going to do my best job, but I wasn't loving it. And I'm like, man, it's so much harder to try to pull one over on someone who's crossed and then someone who's sitting right in front of me, right? Because you could put the face on. You could pretend that it's okay and, go on with your life and be known as a local medium. That would have been okay, except it was turning my light down little by little by little and adding to stress. So yes, I totally used the husband who croaked as an excuse to get out of it. Of course I did. I'm a brilliant coach. I coached my way out of that one. So if you are questioning your own trajectory, your own direction, I'm trying to find as many synonyms as I can for this. Sit down and literally write down everything that you enjoy out of life. Everything that brings you some feeling of connection, of joy, of curiosity, of who you really are. You're never going to be perfect. Congratulations, that's not possible. But you can absolutely continue to expand and to even make a living following what feels right to you. And there'll be another episode about passion. But if you sit down and you get clear about what it is that you like, you will start putting the pavers down for this path that has been encouraged that you find. And if you're feeling lost in this, that's fine too, because you don't have to have a direction, a purpose, a passion, a clarity even, to fully enjoy your life. There's a gift and there's a beauty in dancing in the unknowing and in the uncertainty, and allow life to present itself.
Hi there. Did you know that you can join me for Wisdom Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month, where there's a subject that we cover and it has to do with developing your intuition and coaching, and it's a supportive group where we laugh and we do a great meditation at the end, and it allows you to connect with others from the comfort of wherever you are, and for $8 a month gives you a little bit of connection to your own soul. So join us, won't you? Go to vickybaird.com/booking and book your subscription today.
Someone asked me today if I had planned to be a life coach, if I had planned to work with businesses, if I had a plan to all of this. And I said to her, no, I actually didn't. I had a different direction in life that I thought I was going. And the intuitive readings and even the mediumship in the store and everything showed up because I firmly believe that if Spirit lays down some messages or some breadcrumbs, I will follow them if it feels right to me. And that was one of the first things that I knew I had to lock into, because I, in my younger years, could be easily swayed by what other people need. I still have a challenge with that some days, but I'm much more clear about it has to work for me too. So I didn't have a direction, but I did know that while I was on this planet, I needed to help as many people as possible. And, if they wanted to work with me, if they wanted to even know me, like even in my volunteer work, that was the intention. I just want to help. So knowing that gave me a bit of a direction, but I was in the uncertainty of all of it. And there's a misperception that if you're intuitive and you can see the plan laid out, that you don't really have to experience disappointment or redirection or mistakes or anything like that. And boy, is that not true. So as you're developing your knowing with self, yes, your intuition gets stronger, and sure, making decisions is much easier, but there's still uncertainty, because if we knew everything that was going to go on, oh my goodness, how boring would this be? Uncertainty, fear, worry, confusion, darkness, yeah, they're part of this experience, and they are part of being on your path. We can't always be in lit up emotion. It's not sustainable. It's not enjoyable even, because sometimes the down moments help you appreciate the up moments, and the up moments help you appreciate the down moments. So just like your soul and your human self, they work together. So you don't have to necessarily have direction or certainty or clarity to really be experiencing the joy of what is your path. It's the process and the clarity of figuring out what is an external message and what is an internal feeling, not just the narrative. The narrative is how you think your life should be. The internal dialogue or the knowing is how you feel it and you want to be. Even if you have clarity about the direction you're taking, there's still going to be confusion. You still may have uncertainty. You might have unhappy days. You may be comparing yourself. Well, that person knows so much more, or that person's further ahead on their project, or that person absolutely knew what they wanted to be since they were 3 years old. Okay, fine. But they still have to figure out their path to themselves. And that's what all of this is about. It's your path to yourself. And that's why you can't get off your path. Sometimes it will feel like a labyrinth. I will grant you that. So If having direction is important to you, that's fine. You create that through these lists of what are your characteristics? What do you like about life? What is important to you? What's a message that you would like to bring to the world? Where are your patterns? Have you figured out what is a repetitive action that you keep taking that's not getting you anywhere? So having a life that is connected and in joy does not mean that it's hyper planned. It does not, it actually means the opposite. You learn to kind of follow the direction of the energy, listen to your own enthusiasm, and be willing to let the universe and life show you the beauty it has, because man, I promise you, when the desire to control it or know your path or know the plan or have to have direction is released, the gifts start showing up. So here are some questions that might help you, because I know myself, like if somebody says to me, just sit down and ask yourself some questions, I can't come up with a question. Is today Tuesday? I don't know. Actually, today's Wednesday when I'm recording this, but see, I didn't even know that. So here are some questions that might help you connect to yourself to create some clarity around who you are, how you are, but also appreciate the fact that that's going to keep growing. So I'm going to ask these from the I perspective, as if you're asking yourself, well, what do I enjoy doing? What is fascinating to me? That's one of my favorite words, fascinating. What is fascinating? What is interesting? Because that can be a different thing. Fascinating can draw your attention, right? It's lit up. Interesting might engage your brain. Most importantly, what or whom do I feel drawn to? Pay attention to the magnet that's within you. You have a magnet inside of you. You have a soul course that's rolling through you. Hey, I just released a soul course. But you have a course within you that is guiding. So if you pay attention to what you feel drawn to, that can often help you to connect that up. Oh, what is fun? As adults, we often put fun last, and that isn't serving us. That's not a good thing, because if the soul is here and comes through with joy and we're not having any fun, I think we're shirking our duties. So with these questions, you're answering a call from your soul, and you don't have to know where they lead. You can take care of your practical needs, but along the same lines, allow yourself to play. Imagine yourself actually on a path and you can't see where it curves up ahead. You can't see around the corner. But can you feel the excitement of discovering what's around that corner? Is there going to be a really cool boulder on this path? Will you come around the corner and there'll be a mountain lion? Will you come around the corner and there'll be that person that you've been thinking about and saying, oh, I need to call them. Oh, I have to reach out to them. And then you meet up on the path and you have this lovely conversation and you both leave feeling lit up because you were quite literally on the path, but you were also listening to the path that's within you, because you know it's portable. It's going to go wherever you direct it, but also where it wants to direct you. When you're going around that corner, when you're perceiving it and when you're following it and you're in a trusting place that, well, this must be leading me where I need to go and what I need to understand, that comes because you have some hindsight, right? You have some experience of having already been on your path, because you can look back and say, oh yeah, that when I didn't speak up, that didn't go well. So I know moving forward, I need to use my voice a little bit more. When I follow something that's interesting, I am actually connected in with my path. When I'm following those breadcrumbs, I maybe will get enough to make a whole meal out of it. When you're experiencing this and you're looking back, you also realize that you've walked through fear and you're still here and you've walked through fear. So sometimes people say, well, I don't know, I'm afraid of the unknown or the uncertainty. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're here. You did yesterday. And yesterday afternoon wasn't guaranteed. You didn't know when you got up in the morning what would exactly happen in that afternoon. And yet you walked through it, and then you went to bed last night and you got up this morning and you're going to do it again. So the idea of I'm afraid of the unknown, I don't think that's true. I think you're afraid of your own brilliance, your own power, your own beauty, your own quiet, your own reverence, your own light, your own spirit, your own heart, your own knowing, your own being, your essence, your humor, your delightfulness, your combination of all the lifetimes and who you are today. So with all of that, you've still shown up every day. So what if instead of saying, I'm so afraid, you look at it and you bring that in and you say, well, yeah, I have been afraid in the past. Some of that is true. But how can I be afraid of something that hasn't happened yet? That seems like a waste of energy. And if your system still panics, that's fine. Play it out. What if this goes horribly wrong? What will happen after that? What if people judge me? What will happen after that? What if I'm not good enough? What will happen after that? Feel it. Meet it. Meet all of those messages of your brain and include them. It's the acceptance, right? It's not the search for the path. It's the allowing of the path to happen. And that includes whatever fear may show up. And when you strip the story from fear, it's just energy. It's just a different frequency bouncing around in there. Let it bounce, but then, you can also cast it out. If you're determined to have a plan for your path, I applaud you. That's fine. If your brain needs a plan, you go for it. Included in that plan must be fun. There must be space for, I like to say, please allow the universe to pleasantly surprise me. Because I'm okay with surprises. I want them to be pleasant. And then what you will be doing is bringing all of that energy to you. So whatever this proverbial path is, you are experiencing the joy in every day. You are recognizing that you haven't missed a turn. You didn't get on the wrong train. You didn't screw your life up because it went in a different direction than you thought it might go. Or conversely, you're looking back and thinking, well, what if that had happened? What if I'd taken that turn? What if I didn't get married at 21 and I did get myself through college with a degree? What if I didn't meet my husband and raise 3 kids and have this amazing grandchildren life and all of that? What if that didn't happen? Well, that's one path I could have taken, but I didn't take that path. I took the path of raising kids, building my own business, supporting my husband through his life and his passing, and then stepping into the next path. But they weren't different roads. They weren't different paths. They were all the continuation of one. And free will plays in here and choice plays in here. Gradually, when the realization that I can't get off my path, but I can enhance it. I can absolutely live more in the moment. I can enjoy life. I can make the conscious decision that life is happening for me and not to me. If something feels natural, I will roll with it, but I won't push to create it. If something feels like I want to go in that direction, well, absolutely. Let's go see what's around that corner. If there are moments of uncertainty, I will laugh. I will remember that I'm a soul. And I will continue after this physical body is no longer beating of heart and taking of breath. And I may not know everything, but what I do know is I want to feel lit up in every aspect of my path. So if you commit to that for yourself, even when it's winding and seems to be doubling back on itself or does a twisty, or there's a stop sign and you have to pause for a moment, you won't judge the path. You won't be tough on yourself. You can allow for the next best movement to show up. And I do hope some of this made sense. I decided to do this as a stream of consciousness, not really sure where the guides were going, and I'll have to listen back to see what the heck I said. I know that there can be pressure, so much so on finding the quote-unquote right path, that people don't actually live. And to me, that's pretty sad. So look down, imagine what the path looks like to you. What color is it? Does it have flowers? Is it rocky like in the mountains? Is it smooth like at the beach? Does it change over time? Is it lit up like a runway? Who's walking on the path with you? Like, no matter where you go, trust me, your path is there. You will be okay. You must listen to you and honor the fact that just like you, this path is ever changing, and there's a beauty in that too. So I wish you well. I'm so grateful our paths have crossed, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Intuition, Your First Sense. As always, please like and subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening to it. Leave a review and take a minute to share it with a friend. You can find me all across social media at Coach Vicki Baird, and you can book a virtual session with me from wherever you are in the world at vickibaird.com/booking. That's VICKIBAIRD.com/booking. Thank you again, and see you on the next episode.